Hi, my name is Chef Rizzo, and today I'm here to show you how to make an omelet. Omelets are very simple to make, and yet, for whatever reason, they always tend to intimidate people. So I'm just going to show you something very simple you can do, and that everybody enjoys. So, very simple. I already prepped some of the ingredients that I like to put into my omelet. I have some diced onions, some ham, some mushrooms, and this is some provolone cheese. These are just items that I keep in my fridge. You know, you can use whatever you like. The first thing that we need to do is heat up our saute pan. Okay, some people use olive oil, some people use vegetable oil. I personally like butter. You can use whatever you prefer. One thing to keep in mind is if you're going to use butter or olive oil, don't overheat your pan, because then your butter or your olive oil could burn. You just want to melt it up a little bit. And then the best omelets are made with ingredients that are sauteed into them. There is nothing worse than having a bunch of raw ingredients in your omelet. Take the extra moment, saute them. You're going to really appreciate the difference. So there goes the onions. I'm going to add the mushrooms. Okay. Let those go for a second there. And the ham is going to go in now. And just if you're curious to know, I use 2 slices of ham, cooked ham, and I don't know, maybe about 1/8 of a cup. It's not too many onions, and just a little handful of mushrooms. This is really intended to be for one person. Okay? So you're going to let it saute, you're going to let it caramelize a little bit, and let all the natural flavors come through. Depending on the ingredients you use, sometimes you really don't even have to add any seasoning, any extra seasoning to it, especially if you're using bacon or maybe a salted ham or something like that. I'm going to just season it with just a tad bit of salt and pepper. That's about it. Once you add your cheese, all those things already have salt in them, so you don't want to make your omelet too salty. And one rule of thumb I also learned was you don't add salt and pepper to your eggs when you put them in. You can always season it afterwards, or if you're serving it for someone, they can always season it to their taste afterwards as well. Okay. So while that's cooking up, I'm just going to get my eggs going. All right, this is a 3-egg omelet. So 3 eggs. Now, I am a believer in putting a little bit of milk into the egg. I believe that it makes it a little fluffier. Not too much. Just a nice big dollop. And you don't need any fancy equipment. Check it out. A fork will whisk them just fine if you don't have a whisk. Just use any bowl that you have around the house that you're comfortable using. You don't have to have fancy stuff to make an omelet. Alright, so the eggs are ready to go. I'm just going to keep these close, and I'm going to check my items that are sauteing right now. Put that down there for a minute. And this is looking pretty good. With mushrooms, you don't want to overcook them. Just want to brown them a little bit. So here's one thing. Once you put those eggs in, you're not going to be moving this around, so make sure that everything is spread evenly the way you want it before you pour the eggs in. I'm going to lower the heat just a little bit. And my egg mixture is going to come in right now. Make sure you get it all out. Okay. And then with the omelet, it's pretty simple. Basically, you just kind of want to keep swirling it around. You want to keep swirling it around so that the egg cooks thoroughly. lift it just a tad on the edges and let the raw mixture get underneath it. If you continuously do this, it's going to be done really quickly. You're not going to have those yucky, raw, runny spots. And you're not going to burn it. It's very important. So I just keep lifting the edges and swirling it a little bit. By the way, I am using a non-stick pan. Trust me, just use a non-stick pan if you have one. You're going to do yourself a huge favor. Alright. As you can tell, there isn't a lot of the raw mixture in the center anymore. Not too much left. It's almost done. So we're just going to keep lifting it a little bit more. Getting some of this stuff out of the way. And by the way, if you want to just use egg whites, it's the same exact method. Nothing changes. Just, you know, you want to make sure that you have enough butter or whatever, olive oil, so that it doesn't stick to the pan. I find that the egg whites tend to stick a little bit more than your whole eggs, but other than that, it's the same thing. Okay. So you just want to let it set a little bit. Nobody wants gooey, runny eggs. At least I don't. And if you need to help it along a little bit, then go ahead and help it along a little bit. But right about this time is when you want to start adding your cheese. Because the rest of the egg is going to finish cooking through. You still want it to be a little moist. You don't want it to be all dry. So I'm just going to grab my cheese. Put that in there. And it's going to start melting on its own. You don't really have to wait a long time for it. Once you fold this thing up, you're going to see it's going to do its thing really quickly. So that's pretty much it. It's ready to be plated. The cheese is going to melt in no time. I'm going to go get the plate in the meantime. Alright, so the omelet's all done. So here what we need to do is the famous flip. Look, I'm not going to do anything fancy. I just fold it into the middle, 1/3 of it, and then I just gently let it roll. I just gently roll it off onto the plate. And look, it's a little roll up. Oh, I had a little moon. Sometimes it comes out rolled up. Regardless, you have an omelet. If you want to tuck it in a little bit more, you can. But one of the things I had around the house, or around the kitchen actually, is the yummy buttery croissant. I toasted it up a little bit. I buttered it up a little bit. You don't have to because it's already buttery, but I like it that way. And I'm going to take this croissant, this omelet, I'm going to fold it in half. I am going to then put it on the bottom half of my croissant. Why not? And I am going to make an awesome croissant sandwich. Isn't that delicious?